Are we on the verge of the new generation of NBA stars? No longer are we going to see the LeBron James, the Kevin Durants, the Steph Currys plastered all over the screen when it comes to the NBA playoffs, whether it be the NBA Finals, the NBA Conference Finals. Are we set to have new faces and new superstars to carry the NBA as we go into the next phase? I think this NBA playoff season has shown us that there's a new crop. There's a new crop of teams. There's a new crop of superstars that are coming in. And I think that they're taking the mantle and they're going to move forward. Denver, right now, seems to be the best team in basketball. They swept the Los Angeles Lakers to the point where LeBron is questioning whether he's going to even return for a 21st season. Now, I think there's other motives behind that. I talked about that in a prior video. You can check that out on the GoCast podcast channel. But the Denver Nuggets have been a team that has been together and has a great nucleus, and they have superstars. They have a two-time MVP. Nikola Jokic has become or is becoming a superstar, maybe more in line of a Tim Duncan rather than a Shaq or someone of that caliber. He's not flashy. He's foreign. Tim Duncan wasn't foreign, but Tim Duncan was very quiet. He was more reserved. Jokic, same way, very humble guy. He's not going to go out there and trash talk anybody. He's not going to go out there and try to beat up anybody, even though he got a little testy with the Suns organization, some of the people in that organization. But, heat of the moment kind of thing. But you have Jokic, who is slowly, and finally sports media is kind of talking about him, especially since they've ascended from, a fringe conference finals team to now in the NBA finals, and doing it, stamping it by not only sweeping the Los Angeles Lakers, but sweeping the LeBron James-led Los Angeles Lakers. Then you have his sidekick, Jamal Murray, who averaged 32, almost basically 33 points in that Los Angeles Lakers series. He's becoming a star. Now, Jimmy Butler is a little different. I also have a video where I compare him to Michael Jordan, who some people want to call his dad. I don't know. Maybe Mike had a really good night in Houston back in 89, 88. We don't know. But Jimmy Butler, while he's advanced in age, he is finally getting that. We used to joke about playoff Jimmy, but now playoff Jimmy is not just a joke. It is an actual thing because he is showing the will of someone that not only wants a championship, but wants to show the world that he can run a team. He's not anybody's sidekick. He's not a piece to a championship team. He is the guy to get you to that championship. Will that happen? I'm recording this before Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals, so we'll see. Tomorrow will be the Game 5, so we'll see how Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat rebound after taking a loss to Celtics and having to go back to Boston. So we'll see how that transpires. But he's ascended into a level where people are talking about him, not just in a kind of joking manner and in a kind of passive manner. They're seriously saying Jimmy Butler is the man. He is Jordan-esque. He is Jordan-like. You don't get that comparison very easily in the NBA. Not by your peers, not by sports media, definitely. The only people that get compared to Michael Jordan are your already Hall of Fame level guys, your LeBron James, your Kobe Bryant. Those guys are the guys linked to Jordan. But now Jimmy Butler has put on such a performance, doing it on both sides of the ball, reminiscent to what Jordan did in his heyday, that you can't help but compare that. So he's ascended. He's a guy that, and that Miami Heat team, scrappy as they are, they've ascended into that level. Then you have the Aaron Fox. I know they were outed in the first round. They lost a 7-game series to the Golden State Warriors, the defending champs. But I think the will, the youth, the coaching, everything is there for De'Aaron Fox to take this and hopefully move it to the next level and become that next level guy. I think he's got that mentality now. He knows what he has to do to beat these guys. Yeah, they went against a veteran team. Sacramento had a chance to win. You know, he faltered in Game 7, but that should only make him stronger. He's going to be that next level. He's going to be that new Steph kind of guy, that new, that guard that is going to just put you on ice every time he gets a chance to. And I think he's ascended. He's ascending to that next level. Then you have Devin Booker, who some could argue, now I know there'll probably be those that say differently, but some could argue kind of carried that Phoenix Suns team, even though they had KD. Of course, Chris Paul went down. I might do a video about the sad state of playoff Chris Paul. He went down again with an injury as they looked like they could have turned the tables on Denver, even though they just didn't have a bench or enough there to do that. They at least have done the best of any team against the Denver Nuggets so far in the playoffs. But a lot of it was Devin Booker putting the team on his back. While KD did a lot of little things, you could tell that KD just wasn't the Durant that he wasn't the Slim Reaper that used to just ice teams, where if his toe was on the line, would have beaten the Milwaukee Bucks and willed that Brooklyn Nets team to the next round, but couldn't get it done. But it seemed like Devin Booker was putting them on his back, and he was carrying the scoring load, and he was somewhat the superstar on that team. Will that superstar eliteness carry on into the next phase, to the next season? Is he going to be the guy that carries that team? While Durant is the glue guy, Durant is I guess, I hate to say it like this, but the sidekick. Is Booker the guy that's going to lead this Phoenix Suns if they're going to get any farther? Or are these all anomalies? Is Kevin Durant not really having the most spectacular playoff run just an anomaly, and we'll see him be KD that we know going forward in the next season, the 2024 season? You know, will the Golden State Warriors get back on track? Will LeBron James come back in year 21 at 39 and carry a Los Angeles Lakers team that may rebuild? They can get a Kyrie Irving or other pieces and ascend back up to NBA final level. AD, maybe he'll find the fountain of youth. I heard someone say he's an old 30. I have to agree. You know, AD never looks like he'll be a beast for a game, but it's like he can't sustain that level of energy throughout an entire series. And that's something a 30-year-old, a lot of players are in their prime in their early 30s. So it just doesn't seem like he has that. And then you have Kawhi, who's gone down for another injury. Even after load managing, he's gone. So he showed the flashes of what he used to be or what he was. That 2019 Kawhi Leonard was he just carried that Toronto Raptors team. But can he do it again? No, we don't. It's not looking like that. It's looking like he's going to be a piece on the team, but he's not the piece on the team, if you know what I mean. He might kind of be the closer, but he's the guy that can take over in the end, but he's not the guy that's going to carry that team. It just seems like to me that we've had new teams that are going to be the top of the food chain in the NBA for the next couple of years. And I haven't even talked about your Lukas, who didn't even make it into the playoffs, but he's still another guy that's ascending into a super. He's probably up there. He is a superstar, but he hasn't shown us that he can carry a team. He hasn't become that elite level superstar that can just kill it in the playoffs. I think that time is coming. He's still young. Giannis, we haven't forgotten about the Milwaukee Bucks, even though were the oldest team, one of the older teams in the NBA. Giannis is still a young guy. He's still in his prime. So Giannis is another superstar. He's considered basically the best player in the NBA. I think Jokic is, because of what he's done in these playoffs, I think he's kind of overshadowed Giannis in some ways. Will a finals loss for Jokic kind of send him back down into the fringe superstar where he's really good, but he can't get it done? He's not that guy. You know what I'm saying? Where Giannis has gotten it done and won multiple MVPs. So it'll never take him out of the superstar equation until, he does hit that decline, which I don't think is coming anytime soon. So he's still in the running, but it just does feel that like there's a new crop of superstars that are going to kind of eclipse some of the guys that we're used to seeing. And there's some teams, Sacramento, we'll say Phoenix, Miami with Jimmy Butler, Denver now, of course. I think Denver's here to stay at the top for a while. You got other teams like Cleveland with Donovan Mitchell, those guys. He's another rising star that's probably going to get into that level of, we're going to be, talking about him more so than some of the other guys. The New York Knicks are a good team. Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle. If they add a piece, they might be another team we're talking about in the upper echelon where, they're in the conversation for championships. Whereas other teams have kind of fallen out. We don't know what Golden State's going to do, the Lakers, all these other teams, where it just seems like the top, and even Boston, and I didn't even put Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in this picture, but I think Tatum has achieved that kind of star level, and he's here to stay, and so is Brown. But I just don't think they're going to be together going forward. But I think they'll both be stars. Jason Brown, most likely on Boston. Jaylen Brown, we'll see in this offseason. But I think they are going to be a part of that crop of new superstars that are carrying teams to that next level, like your James Hardens of old and Kevin Durant's and Steph Curry's and these guys that were, and Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, these guys that were carrying teams that almost got there but just didn't quite get there. Some of them did. Steph, KD, those guys, they did get there, and they got there a lot, and they did well. But now, like I said, it just seems like they're kind of coming down on their careers, and these guys are rising up. And I think that they're going to continue, and we're going to see new teams emerge as championship contenders that we weren't talking about a couple years ago. It's not going to be just Golden State and Boston or whoever, Milwaukee. Those teams are going to have to adjust to these new upcoming scrappy Cleveland, New York, Sacramento. Now Denver for the most part. Denver definitely. And these other teams that are forging their way up. Memphis, I forgot to even mention Ja and Memphis. Ja's got some demons right now, but if he can get himself right and that team can kind of weed out the guys that are kind of bringing that team down, Memphis, if they could put it all together and get some special pieces and actually buy into everything and mature and grow up, sky's the limit. I mean, had they not ran into a red-hot Los Angeles Lakers team, imagine Memphis against some of these other teams if they were healthy and they mature just a little bit more. If they just come in, if they don't come in, with that arrogance, it's fine to come in with a little bit of arrogance, but if they come in with the confidence, but a dog that's ready to fight, those guys are going to be tough team to out. So are we on the verge of a new crop of contenders, a new crop of superstars that are going to be the main focus of sports media and everything else. And you're going to hear about these teams. We're not going to hear as much about Steph and Golden State and LeBron and these guys. I mean, LeBron's the face. As long as he's there, he's going to get his 15 minutes on television every morning. But are we going to see a shift from that to some of these other players, these other teams that are small market? They're not the most talked about teams right now, but as they move forward, and didn't even talk about San Antonio now that they have another generational great superstar. So I think we're heading into a new era in the NBA. I think it's exciting. I think that this NBA playoffs has shown that we could have new faces, new names, new teams, and it could still be exciting, and it could still tell a good story, and it could still show that good basketball is all the narrative you need. You do need superstars. Superstars do help, but good basketball trumps all. So let me know what you think, guys. Are these the new crop? Are these the guys rising up? Are these the teams rising up that you see coming up in the next 2, 3, 4 years? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys for checking this out, and I'll see you soon.